Hello, everybody. What is going on? You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches. I am your host, Reese, and I am back for some more Saved by the Bell on this Throwback Thursday. It's such a good day. I'm recording really early in the morning, and it's so nice and quiet. My cats are asleep, so yeah, it's a good time. I have my my radio voice, my sexy radio voice, I think, just because it's early in the morning. Maybe it's not that sexy. Maybe if people are listening, like, it's not that sexy, stop it. Forget you guys. I'm in my head. It's my sexy radio voice. So, anyway, yeah, so it's Throwback Thursday. So you know what that means. More Saved by the Bell. And it's all about the season finale in this episode, you guys. This episode, I watched season 4, episode 26, Mystery Weekend. 26 episodes in a season, you guys. What the hell were they thinking? We are complaining about shows that have like 22 episodes in a season. I complain about The Walking Dead having 16 episodes. What the fuck with 26? Oh man, it is so... The 90s were some wild days, like 26 episodes. And like I was saying last week, 90210 went to like 30. Like there were seasons of TV shows that went to 30 episodes. Like what kind of madness was that? It was just crazy times in the 90s, crazy times. And we all liked it, I guess. You know, I was coming home to watch Saved by the Bell, like my 4 episodes of Saved by the Bell a day, not complaining about the 26 episodes of the season. So, yeah, we just got through it, I guess. We know better now, or at least we're trying to know better, which is why all the TV shows that I really love are like 10 to 13 episodes. And like even the 13 episodes, I'm like looking at my watch like, come on, like really 13 episodes? So yeah, oh, we're spoiled. Or I'm spoiled. I won't speak for anybody else. I am a spoiled brat. So this is the season finale of the 4th season of Saved by the Bell. We are about to go on to the final season. I am excited and sad. We have Tori episodes coming up. We've got, they're going to tease us with Lisa and Zack. We've got movies and marriages and so much more. So I'm excited about the new season, but we have to get through the mystery weekend. Boom, boom, boom. And in case you didn't realize, this is not one of my favorite episodes. Goddamn, was this episode boring. Oh, you guys, it was so boring. I'm like, why is this happening to me? Why did they do this to us? Why did mystery episode need to be mystery weekend need to be a thing? It's just so terrible. It's really an awful episode of Saved by the Bell, which probably sounds like an oxymoron to some people, like a terrible episode of Saved by the Bell. But this show is a masterpiece. I will not hear any criticism of it. I won't have it unless it's for this episode because it fucking sucks. But before I get into the suckitude of Mystery Weekend, you need to subscribe to the podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm even on Spotify and iHeartRadio. So go to all of those places. Download the apps. Go to the Apple Store, the iTunes Store, Apple Podcasts. Is there a separate Apple Podcast app? I don't know. Is it still just iTunes? They call it Apple Podcasts now. Like, who knows? But go to all those places. Hit that subscribe button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star rating and review. And I will be forever grateful. Or I'll be grateful for as long as I can remember that stuff. But I like positive feedback. So send me some positive feedback because that's just the nice thing to do. And it's the holiday season, so it's the holiday thing to do. So I've procrastinated enough. Let's get into Mystery Weekend. I swear my grandfather could have written this episode. It's such an old people. No offense, I'm not ageist or anything, but it's such an old. No, I'm not even going to insult my grandfather like that, because my grandfather would not do this shit. This is a bunch of teenagers on a mystery weekend. It's sort of like an Agatha Christie. Like, is Agatha Christie the mystery writer? Yeah, I haven't read a lot of Agatha Christie. I'm sorry. But it's sort of like one of those things. It's sort of like a real live Clue. Is what I was thinking about. It's real. It's a real live version of Clue, and it's for older people. I can't see anybody under the age of like 45 even thinking about doing something like this. And I'm proven right, because most of the people that are there for this weekend have to be in their like 40s or 50s. The most prominent people there are 2 grandparents. So this is not something that your typical teenagers will want to do. And it's not something that I would think that, Lisa or Zack, that crew would want to do. But Lisa won the radio contest for it. And when the host, when they get to the house, the mansion that they're staying in for the weekend, the host congratulates her on winning the contest, and she makes it seem like she was repeatedly calling the radio station to try to win these tickets. And I'm like, what? Like, this is not Beyonce. Like, this is, or like in the 90s, or when I was a kid, there was here in Philadelphia, there's this I don't even know if it still exists, but there's used to be this radio station called Power 99, and they had this a concert every year called Powerhouse, and kids in school would be like on their cell phones trying to win Powerhouse tickets. And that's like the thing that I imagine. I do not imagine any of the kids that I went to school with repeatedly calling a radio station to win tickets to their, a mystery weekend of Clue. It's just so ridiculous. And Lisa is better than this. It was like, oh, they do Lisa so wrong. It's like, really? Lisa is so much cooler than a mystery weekend. They really do treat Lisa like she's a retiree in this episode. Like, her favorite drink is a mango tonic with a kiwi twist. And it's such a grandma drink. It's such a like Florida retirees drink. You can imagine like your grandma in Palm Beach getting a mango tonic with a kiwi twist. It's just Lisa's so much better than this. So we get a lot of terrible accents and a lot of terrible acting in this episode. And I guess you're supposed to go along with it because these are people acting like they're living this mystery weekend thing. So they're actors. The actors are acting. So they have to really act. So we get the Jeanette, the French maid, who is really acting in this terrible French accent. French people should be like really offended by by her accent. It's like, girl, like if you're an actress, you couldn't pretend to do something better than us. Like, who would hire Jeanette? Nobody would ever hire Jeanette. This is why Jeanette works in the mystery weekend business, because she's a terrible actress. So right from the beginning, things start going bad. Jesse gets into an argument with Jeanette, the French, did I call her a waitress? The French housekeeper, the French maid. Jesse gets into an argument with her, and immediately the game begins because the piano player who was flirting with Jesse dies, quote unquote dies. and everybody's really excited. The mystery, oh, the weekend. But it gets like it's not even fun. This is not even fun. Like everybody's like, ooh, they cart the body out, and still in the position of how they died. So the piano player got stabbed in the back, so he dies, and he's carted out, laying on his stomach with a knife sticking in his back, and Zack, of course, Zack has to whip his dick out on the table like Mr. Jameson hosts the mystery weekend. And he's like, Mr. Jameson, I think I figured it out. And he's like, he guesses that it's the butler that killed the piano player. And this is fun. Zack gets told that he's wrong. And it's like, really, Zack? The first death in this mystery weekend, and you like, I got the answer. It's like those people that ring in for Jeopardy before Alex gets to finish reading the answer, and so they give the wrong answer, and it's like, if you listen to the end of the question, you would know that. And it's like, yes, I love when that happens to people. In your face, Zack, you're wrong. So he's wrong because the butler walks in. The butler is dead too. The butler gets killed, and then we get the grandparents that are there. Somebody's stuff gets stolen. The grandmother's like necklace or something gets stolen, or her watch or something like that. And that's when Mr. Jameson turns the tables, and he's like, that's not a part of the weekend. This is really serious. Serious. Everybody go to their rooms. And so they go to their rooms, and before they get to their rooms, Lisa saves Mr. Jameson because like a battle axe or something almost falls on him. So Lisa saves him, and Lisa gets really scared, which is like really bad acting. I'm sorry, Lisa's my girl, but it's really bad acting. She's like jumping at everything and screaming, and it's like, why do they do this to Lisa? Why did they give her this bad stuff? After all this stuff is happening, Mr. Jameson tells Zack and Lisa, I don't know why he gravitates towards Zack too. I mean, it's almost like people see them together and they automatically decide that Zack is the leader of the group. So Zack, this is like Lisa won the contest. Zack doesn't need to be included, but Mr. Jameson automatically says, Zack and Lisa, I'm going to give you vouchers for another weekend. First of all, once people's shit start getting stolen and the game gets broken, like, why would they want to come back for another weekend? And yeah, there's no second. There's no second part of that. Why would you want to come back? Why did you want to come in the first place? But why would you want to come back once you know they have zero control? Like on the first night you're there, shit starts falling apart. Why would you want to come back? Whatever. But Lisa just loves this weekend, so she wants those vouchers. Lisa she needs to have this mystery weekend. So she's coming back for the vouchers. So they all go to Zack's room, and Lisa's really scared. So she's so scared that she offers to pack Zack's clothes so they can leave, and he can go and get the vouchers for Mr. Jameson. And so it's so stupid. He locks her in the room. She's that scared. She's that scared of the we find out later that Lisa is like part of the whole mystery. Lisa has been brought into the whole mystery, but the fact that nobody is questioning how Lisa is so scared. I mean, even Kelly, who I have like very little respect for. Um, Even Kelly is like cool with everything that's happening. You know, people are dying and their shit's getting stolen, and Kelly is like having fun. She's enjoying it. And even Jesse's not complaining. So the fact that Lisa is the is the the one that's making all the noise is like, really? But I guess I wanted Lisa to have something to do, and this is something to do. I don't know why it has to be in the worst episode though. Worst episode of the season. So Zack goes to Mr. Jameson's office, and his office has been like ransacked, and Mr. Jameson tells Zack that he that he thinks someone was looking for the prize money. Now the prize money is only $500. And I say only, like, I would like $500 right now. $500 is a good chunk of cash, because I'm a poor. But $500, I'm not ransacking anybody's office. I'm not working that hard to steal $500 for somebody. So the fact that Mr. Jameson's office is like completely, trashed. He's sitting in his office like smoking, acting like he's scared too. So Zack is there for the vouchers. Mr. Jameson keeps the vouchers in a I don't know why Zack is not suspicious of any of this. Zack is the scammer of all scammers. Zack, like, he does this in his sleep. The fact that he's not suspicious of this at all until the very end of the episode is like, come on, Zack. Like, be better. Like, this is your job. Your job is to be a scammer. How can you get scammed when you're the scammer? So Jameson keeps the vouchers in a hidden vault in his wall, like not in a vault, but in a hidden safe in his wall. Like, he opens up a panel of the wall, and there's a safe in there. And Zack is not like, like, why would you keep like vouchers for the weekend in there? Like, how important are these vouchers? How much are these vouchers worth that they need to be kept in a locked safe? But Zack doesn't question it. I guess he's just happy he's getting free shit. So the lights go out again. There's a scream, and Mr. Jameson goes missing while Zack is in the office. And so everybody runs into Mr. Jameson's office because, of course, everybody was out in the hall. Like, I don't know, like, what was everybody doing together out in the hall, like waiting for Mr. Jameson to go missing, I guess. But all of these people are just, they're visitors like Zack and the rest of the crew. But anyway, Zack gets caught in the office by himself, and Mr. Jameson is missing. So Jeanette, the French maid, comes up, and she wants to know what is Zack doing there? Oh my God, her accent is so terrible. What are you doing there, Zack? You're in Jameson's office by yourself. It's so bad. My accent was just better than that. Was better than the shit she was doing. So Zack is like, calm down, Frenchie. Mr. Jameson gave me these vouchers. Of course, he gave the vouchers in an envelope. And so some rando guy steps up and is like, Zack is like, here's the proof. I didn't do anything. Here's the vouchers. And the rando takes the envelope, and he's like, no, it's the money. You stole the money, and you killed Mr. Jameson. You stole the money. And, so French Jeanette is like, I'm calling the real police, and she calls the cops. And so Zack gets taken to his room with Screech and Slater. Screech, of course. This is the one episode where I'll be I won't mention Screech a lot, but I'll say that he is rightfully skeptical of Zack's innocence. So when they get to the room, Zack is like, yo, I need some help clearing my name. I didn't do anything. The old lady also thinks Zack stole her necklace. And, and when they get back to the room, everybody follows Zack to the room, and he's like, Lisa, he tries to use Lisa as an alibi. He's like, Lisa is in my room. She's locked in my room. She knows that, I went to get vouchers from Mr. Jameson. But when they get to the room, Lisa isn't there either. And that's when a real detective comes, and he's a real detective who is wearing the worst. And Zack is still not suspicious. He's wearing the worst, like, fake facial hair. He looks fake. Like, the fact that Zack could stand in his face and think that he's an actual police officer is like, I'm questioning his 1502 now. Like, I was questioning the 1502 on the SATs before, but I'm definitely questioning it now, because it's like, Zack, come on, look at his face. Like, snatch that fake mustache and those fake sideburns off his face and get the fuck out of here. Even the fake eyebrows, it was so unbelievably fake. The fact that nobody is like, are we really doing this right now? Are we really, like, Zack, do you really believe this? But Zack and the whole gang really believe that Zack is in, real trouble. But anyway, they're in the room. Lisa is missing from the room, and the cop finds Lisa's watch in Zack's pocket. I don't even know why he reached into Zack's pocket, but he finds Lisa's watch in his pocket. And Zack is like, I'm being framed. Everybody leaves, and they get Slater's Screech and Zack are stuck in there, and Screech is mad. He's like, why did you hurt the love of my life? And Zack is like, shut up. I hate you. How could you think I could do something like this? And it's like, but you're Zack. Oh, and it's so funny. Zack's friends all turn on him. So he he tries to get his friends to, like, vouch for his good character, like that he's not a thief or a murderer, like he wouldn't hurt people. And so they go around to all of them, and they all start off like really nice, like, Zack is a great guy, but this is the time he so Kelly is like, Zack is a great guy, he would never steal anything, but he did try to scam the what did he tried to scam something. He tried to sell a car or something like that. Slater is like, Zack wouldn't do this, but he did make fake IDs. Screech is like, he would never hurt anybody, but he did tie me to a roller coaster track. And it's like, wait, what? Like, Zack tries to actually murder Screech. We never see any of this stuff. But the way Screech talks about shit, Zack tries to actually physically hurt Screech, which I'm a fan of. I'm not mad at Zack for doing that, but I'm also like, yeah, I get why Screech is like, this guy would do anything to get some money. Like, the fact that Screech doesn't believe in Zack's innocence is the most real thing in this episode. I'm like, of course Screech doesn't believe in Zack's innocence. Why does anybody believe in his innocence? And they really don't. Like, all of them, they try to defend Zack, but they end up like turning on him. They end up telling all the bad shit that he's done. And it's like, oh, Zack, like, you thought that you had everybody, you thought that you had like this whole thing on lock, but you really don't, because your friends will turn on you in a second. Like, they can't leave you, but if they get questioned by anybody about anything that Zack does, they are so turning over on him so fast. So anyway, they Slater, Screech, and Zack end up finding a secret passageway in the room somehow, in the fireplace, and it leads to Mr. Jameson's office. And this is when Zack finally figures everything out. They go into Mr. Jameson's office. They see a cigarette with lipstick on it, and they see Lisa's the drink that Lisa has, the mango tonic with the kiwi twist. And that's when Zack is like, okay, I got this all figured out. It's been laid out for me. It couldn't be any more clear right now that this is still the game. And so he goes out and he does his whole Sherlock Holmes routine randomly, there's a woman that shows up that is obviously Mr. Jameson and, a dress and makeup. Basically Mr. Jameson in drag. And the woman just shows up. She's standing there while Zack is being questioned by the fake cop. And nobody is like, where does she come from? We didn't see her earlier. Just a random Mr. Jameson disappears and a random woman that looks exactly like him in a dress and wig is standing right here, and we don't recognize it. But no, these people are obviously they obviously have like face blindness. Like they cannot recognize people that look exactly like the other people that were there earlier. So Zack does his Sherlock Holmes and he says, he reveals Lisa because he saw Lisa's drink. And then they make Slater look, they make sure Zack is the smartest person in the room because Slater is like, oh, we saw a cigarette with lipstick on it. But obviously Lisa doesn't smoke. So it must have been two women that are the killers. And Zack is like, no, that's what they want you to think. But, the killer is actually Mr. Jameson. And so he walks over to the woman and pulls off the wig. And, Mr. Jameson is like, yeah, surprise, bitches. I'm here. I'm in this bad dress and makeup and wig. You didn't recognize me, but whatever. And so Mr. Jameson praises Zack. Basically, Zack, you're the smartest person ever in the world. You win the game. You figured out the game never stopped. And it's like, it took him long enough to figure out the game never stopped. Like he figured out the game never stopped 5 minutes before the game was over. So yeah, Zack wins. Screech is stupid. He thinks that Jeanette is also like a fake. So he pulls her hair and she chases him around the room, continuing to use the fake French accent. You would think that since the game is over, Zack solved the mystery, that she would, throw away that accent and burn it. But no, she's keeping it. She's running around. Oh, and there's another thing. They know that these kids are teenagers, but Jeanette is like so flirting with Zack, like heavy flirting with Zack. She takes the boys to their room and she's like bending over with her French. It's basically, she's wearing a French maid costume and it's super short and she's bending over, like dusting and fluffing the pillows in front of his face. And it's like, girl, these are children. You're 40, take it down a notch. But no, Jeanette, she just let that French accent take over her life. And oh my God, it's so terrible. But anyway, Zack figures it out. Episode over, season over. We're done. I'm done. This episode is done. Oh man, you guys, this was such a bad episode to end the season on. It's a womp womp. Yeah. I remember liking this episode more, but obviously I was wrong. Maybe it's just because I remembered Lisa's drink. I remember Lisa drinking the mango tonic with the kiwi twist. Have to have that kiwi twist because that makes the drink. Like I don't mango tonic with a kiwi. Like, is that a real thing? They keep saying it like it's a real thing. And not just some shit that Lisa made up. It must be real though. It seems like a real 80s drink. Like I feel like I could go on Miami Vice and I would get a mango tonic with a kiwi twist, or True Beverly Hills. Like I would be in True Beverly Hills and that's what the mom in that movie would Phyllis would drink, a mango tonic with a kiwi twist. Whatever. That's so random. I need to watch that movie again though. I love that movie. Anyway, that's the end of the episode, you guys. But I do want to tell you that this will be the last Throwback Thursday episode of the year. I will be back in the new year on, we'll start the new season on January 3rd. So on Thursday, January 3rd, we will start season 5. So I'm excited to start season 5. I don't know what the premiere episode is called because I didn't look that up. You know how lazy I can get sometimes. So yeah. And the next episode of the podcast, I'll be reviewing the mid-season finale of Black Lightning, and that'll be the officially the last podcast because all my shows are going on hiatus right now. The Gifted went on hiatus last week and Black Lightning this week. So I'm just going to take the rest of the year off. I do have a couple special things planned. So you will get a couple of episodes coming up. You'll get one episode where I just do what I've been watching. So yeah, that should be a nice little thing to keep the ball rolling so the feed doesn't go dead. And I have a bonus podcast because I have something new that I'm doing that I want to tell everybody about. So you'll get the bonus podcast and you'll get my my grab bag episode for all the shows and the shows I've been watching, and maybe even the comics that I read too. I forgot, but whatever. It'll just be the grab bag episode. And so you'll get that next week. And then, no more episodes until the new year. January 1st will be, that's when the Gifted premieres, but, officially the first episode of the new year will be this Throwback Thursday episode for Saved by the Bell. So yeah. So that is everything. That is all the housekeeping. And, so follow me on social media. I'll be there even when I'm not podcasting. So follow me over there. Follow the podcast at NerdTraverPod. Use the hashtag NerdyWatch so I'll, can see what you're saying to me. You can follow me personally at the Ms. Introvert. It's important to write it all out. THEMS Introvert. So don't get me mixed up with anybody else. You can follow me on Instagram at The Introverted Nerd and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. If you would like to send me some email feedback, you can send it to The Introverted Nerd at gmail.com. And that's it. That is it. Have a happy holidays, you guys. Have a drink for me. Happy New Year. So until January 3rd, you guys, later.